Hello, everyone. It's Royce here, and I want to welcome you all to my Royce in the House YouTube channel. Man, I am so excited to be talking about Alice Cooper reuniting about 52 years after the first Alice Cooper band. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, and I'm almost worried I might slip off and fall below my desk, I mean, that's how excited I am to be talking about the one and only Alice Cooper. I want to thank everybody that's joining us. I want to thank everybody that's going to join us later, because as you know, there far more people watch the show after it's done. And we really love the live chat and everybody that shows up here, because that just makes the show more fun and more interesting. But thank you all. Hit that thumbs up button, get the show distributed. We had a weird thing happen last week. We were showing over 60 subs. And then when the show was over, I saw the 60. Then I went to analytics. And then I was looking, and I go, what happened? I was down to 45, and it just seemed to get locked like that. It was just really strange.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because I went over to review the stream, and all of a sudden it was showing 45, and I know we hit that record.
I know it was really strange. And Ben is here. Ben Sheldiger, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Dr. Insomnia. Let's see, we have Rockin' Robin Bird. Right on, brother. Good to see you here. Hey,
a lot of tribal members out there tonight, Royce.
A lot of tribal members. I really appreciate the tribe.
Welcome.
We are joined at the hip with the tribe here, and we've got Dawson Walters just joined us. And before we get into a little intro, I want to introduce the co-hosts here. Michael Nolan, my brother from another, next to me here. The bottom line. Now, I want you all to know, if you don't already, most of you here would know, we just came from Michael's show. Michael streams Sunday at 5, goes to 6, maybe a couple of minutes later. Then by 6:30, we switch to my live stream. So if you haven't been watching Michael Nolan, the bottom line, you need to get over there. That is an amazing channel, and Michael does an excellent job, and we all really enjoy it. Hey, my old brother Jeff Davidson's here. Hey, how you doing, Jeff? Good to see that you've been showing up here the last couple of weeks. Really appreciate you. Okay.
Hey, I really wanted to shout out Doc Insomnia a bit, man. He came up with the greatest set of lyrics, and I could just hear Cherokee People by Paul Revere and the Raiders. Man. He did this whole rhyme about the tribe.
Right. Oh, that's really cool.
Set to the tempo. And when I first read it, I was going, I know this lilt. I know this lilt. What does he do? Cherokee people, all of a sudden it hit me. Really nice. I like somebody who's got a little pizzazz to their presentation. Good one, Doc. Excellent.
Right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so we've also been joined by Joanna. Joanna Shipley has joined us. Jeff Davidson, as I mentioned already. Piccolina the cat. Hi, good to see you, Piccolina. Dr. Insomnia, P401, Paul. My buddy Paul from Colombia has just joined us. And here we have Novice Nick. Hey, Novice, you got your camera down between your feet? You're holding it steady or what?
My other system is down.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm on my iPad. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can. And we got Son of World War II.
You see my shirt?
Let's see. Opinion. I can read opinion. I can't see it all. It's kind of.
You remember when I asked you for your opinion? Me either.
Yeah. Now I can read it.
Oh, now I see it. Yeah.
All right. So once again, Joanna Shipley, thanks so much for joining us, and Dr. Insomnia. All right, and
Royce, we also have a brand new person in tonight, son of World War II vet. Hey guys, first time here. Hope Alice's new album is as good as Flush the Fashion.
Yeah, everybody say
welcome.
Help me to say welcome to son of a World War II vet. In fact, Michael, when you brought that up, I was just trying to get the words out of my mouth. Okay,
I'm sorry.
No worries. Okay, next to Michael is Chris Elliott, regular co-host. How you doing, Chris?
Very good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. Are you ready for this? Everybody? Yeah. Are you ready for the show tonight?
Oh, yes. Got a couple things in. Hey.
Okay, great. Just below Chris is Just the Facts Man, my good friend Dan. We've co-hosted together going back like years now. And Dan is well connected in the rock and roll circles, and he's really put some interesting things together some in the past. And sometime we'll have to just do a show on Dan and all the things Dan has done and the bands he's been associated with, helping, managing, friending, and all the things, all the stories he's got. And next, thank you, Dan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I got to apologize to Michael. I had to leave with about 30 minutes left of your show tonight.
Oh, that's all right, man.
So I missed. I'll go back and listen to it later.
Yeah. I did some talking out at you. If you didn't catch that, then it'll be worth a peruse because, I kind of brought you up in the comments and everything, brother.
Okay, and next to Dan is the one and only Dawson Walters from Raging. How do you say that again?
Rampage
Videos. Thank you. Not Raging, Rampage. I knew the minute it came out it was incorrect. Thank you. How you doing, Dawson?
Bring it on, Royce. I'm ready.
Oh, bring it on.
Rock
Okay,
and
well,
roll.
let's get going here. We'll just move right over to Nick and say, hey, Nick, you look like you're on top of a mountain looking down on us peons. How you doing, man?
Not hardly. Last week was Easter, so I couldn't make it. I was meditating for the man that's actually standing on top of the mountain.
Oh,
down on
okay.
us.
All right.
But,
you were just
sorry I missed
nothing
the
wrong with that.
last week and the week before, but I'm back and I'm energized and look forward.
Oh,
glad to
okay.
see everybody.
Energized. I'm looking forward to Energized. That sounds great. So this is going to be beyond fun tonight because we're going to be talking about a favorite of mine, Alice Cooper. I've been a fan of Alice Cooper. I was introduced to Alice Cooper by Terry and Lynn Gemmell. Not that I expect anybody to know those names, but we were good friends as teenagers, best friends. And I went over to his house one day, and he whipped out this Alice Cooper album, and says, "Man, have you heard this?" And I go, "No." And him and his brother were just couldn't say enough about it. And I was like, let's see, I was 16 years old, 17 tops when he pulled that out.
Now you were 18, and I don't know what I.
No, school wasn't out yet.
Okay,
but anyway, but anyway, I became a fan that far back, and
awesome.
So we're talking about right now the return album the world was afraid of. The original Alice Cooper group reunites after more than 50 years. I think it's closer to 52 years.
Yes.
With a brand new studio album. In my wildest, I'd have never thought that was ever going to happen. The Revenge of Alice Cooper, set for release July 25th. Okay, and I'm going to show some pictures of the album, and the box set's going to be available too. Okay,
I've already ordered it.
Nice. Okay, so for the first time in 50 years, the original Alice Cooper group has reunited to release a brand new studio album, The Revenge of Alice Cooper, set to be released July 25th. The highly anticipated album is heralded as the successor to the iconic records School's Out, Billion Dollar Babies, Love It to Death, and Killer, all of which were made with the original band. In fact, that's only part of it. There were seven albums were released by the original Alice Cooper band, and they were Pretty's for You in 69, Easy Action in 70, Love It to Death 71, Killer 71, School's Out 72, Billion Dollar Babies 73, and Muscle of Love 73. And of course,
Love It to Death and Beyond are all masterpieces, with the first couple albums being good, right? But it's those last consecutive albums up to Muscle of Love where you have rock masterpieces, in my opinion.
Absolutely, brother. So just a little more, and I'm anxious to get to the panel here. The first single from the album, Black Mamba, was released. What was it, Michael? Tuesday, Wednesday?
Something like that.
Yeah, I've listened to it. Released this week, featuring the legendary Robbie Krieger of The Doors playing guitar. This track serves as a venomous introduction to the new era of Alice Cooper, packed with familiar classic riffs and electrifying energy. Okay, I want to get back to the distinguished panel here now. Okay, let's see. We'll go to Chris first, and when Michael gets ready, we'll jump back to Michael. But Chris, go ahead. Are you a fan of Alice Cooper?
Oh yes, very much so.
Good.
I mean, I was lucky enough to have seen him twice in concert.
Oh, nice. I've seen him once. He comes to Vina Robles right here close to where I live. A big winery. It's an amphitheater, small venue, no bad seats. I saw him there. Absolutely loved it. You know, it's the same old shock show with, I say same old. It was exciting with the beheading, somebody running around the stage with his head in their hand, all the ghouls and gals and you name it. But I tell you what, if you haven't
his head around like it was a soccer ball. So
you're right. If you haven't seen Alice Cooper live in concert, you have to go see Alice Cooper at least once. You know, everybody's getting older. I'm getting older. Alice Cooper's getting older, and we may not get that many more chances. So we got to see these guys while they're still here because they're just absolutely amazing. Like
the second time I saw him, he wasn't as rambunctious as the first time, but he was still putting on one hell of a show.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was in good spirits when I saw him. Okay, well, thanks. We'll hop back to Michael right now. And I know, Michael, you did a show Wednesday night, I believe it was, on this new album.
Yeah.
Was it Monday or Wednesday? I'm trying to remember.
I don't recall. This last week I put out 3 or 4 videos and 3 streams, and I was on your stream. I've been so busy, I can't tell you when I put these out. I haven't even been able to respond to all of the comments on it, but that's been a big video of mine. Mm-hmm. We covered it. During either one of my streams of the video, I had mentioned that I had heard a short that had the artwork kind of blown up, and it had this ominous bass line and this howling guitar, which was so original Alice Cooper-ish that I was absolutely blown away by it. And so what I did was guess that may indeed be a portion of Black MAMBA, and it turned out that indeed it was a portion of Black MAMBA. Now, listen, it's interesting, on a Patreon stream with Rachel's Ghost, or Rachel, it's called Ghost 2 now. She was mentioning it and that she liked it, but she had heard that his voice was kind of aging. I went back because I wasn't aware of that. And I guess if you listen to it clinically, that's true. But all of it is so, his delivery, his vocal delivery, even his nasal approaches are more close to that original Alice Cooper sound that we have. And the instrumentation is dead on, with the guitars, bass, drums doing exactly what a pure Alice Cooper album would handle. Now, that's the only song I've heard so far, so you can't say they're back yet, but the signs are damn good. And over 50 years since we've gotten an album by this band, and they've really put, I love the album cover. It's designed to look like a movie poster. It even says, Alice Cooper, The Revenge of Alice Cooper, directed by, and then who is it? His name came off my lips so easily.
You know what? I had his name too.
He's their longtime producer, co-collaborator. Bob Ezrin, thank you. On my stream introducing your stream, I actually the name came right to me. But what you've got is a presentation, and they're having fun with the whole image and sound so far of the original Alice Cooper band. And I got to tell you, Royce, I know Alice is touring. I covered that in my video. This year with his regular band, and he is saying that he's open to touring with the original Alice Cooper unit, or at least meeting them up at certain select venues, but then he
Right.
clarified that and said like clubs and things. And
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I got to tell you, that was a little bit disappointing when I thought about it, because first of all, if you're lucky enough to get into a club and they're playing at a place that's close to you, that's
Right.
probably the best way to see them. But
Sure.
at the same time, boy, I think, and especially since Glenn Buxton is no longer with us, except for on this album
He
by
is on
Miracle,
one song on this album. Yeah.
right? But since he's gone, and I know, that Alice is fully committed to his touring band, and he's doing great things with that. But I would love for him to dismiss them, except for Nita. He could keep Nita because they need somebody to sit in for Glenn. And she's a good enough guitarist that I think she could wind up playing his style. And to give us as close to a rendition and tour that freaking album, if it is indeed as good as it appears to be, with one pre-release, I will remind everybody.
I think they are
give that album. I talked about on my stream voice that Kate Perry can't fill an arena. Neither can Beyonce. That the Las Vegas Sphere is losing money, 1.28 billion over the 2 billion it cost to build it, which was $500 million more than they thought it would cost.
Wow.
Things are starting to fall by the wayside. What do we need? We need a hero, and we need a classic rock hero. And the further they go back with the newest material, the better. The Stones did it for us in 23. So did bands like good Lord, Ian Anderson's band, Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull,
right?
Yeah.
And we covered several acts that gave us brand new albums that year. Yes came out with Mirror to the Sky. We need a hit like that, and and everybody could gravitate toward that, and it would be as real as Foreigner is fake.
Well, Michael, that's right. I love Dr. Insomnia's comment here. He says only the original Alice Cooper band can save the Sphere.
Yeah. And if you want to marry up 22nd century technology, which I described as bullshit, but if you want to marry that up, you name a living rocker that couldn't do the Sphere up better.
Hey guys,
I'm allergic to that Sphere, but it was built for Alice.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine the Alice show down on that stage? Chris Elliott just said that he's got to go. Something came up. Sorry, guys.
Oh no.
Yeah. I hope it's nothing real serious.
Hope you're okay, Chris.
Yeah, hope you're okay, Chris. Okay, let's move on to Just the Facts. Dan the Man, Just the Facts, man. And Dan, so what is your experience with Alice Cooper?
Well, I think it was like 1972, first time I ever heard of Alice Cooper.
Okay. Me too, Dan.
And it was I'm 18. That's 18. That's the one that got me.
Yeah.
Well, that and School's Out. Being a junior high kid at the time, that I remember them playing that song on I don't know, somebody had a boombox, whatever. But we played that song on the last day of school. And it almost became like a traditional thing. Kids love that song.
It was 72 for me as well, and it was Halo of Flies off Killer and Desperado. Those two, and then of course when 18 came out, School's Out came out. Of course.
Now I've only seen Alice Cooper in concert once. I don't know why, but the first time I saw him was just 2 years ago on their 50th anniversary, and actually, he opened up for Rob Zombie, which I thought was odd. I thought Alice Cooper would be the headliner, but
same here.
But when they came out with, of course, they came out with their 50th anniversary album, which I got, and along with it, I got the original members' autographs. Except
look at that! Nice.
Oh man,
yeah, very nice, Dan. That's great. Hold on. Let me make you bigger so we can see that better. Sorry.
Yeah, you got Neil Smith.
Look at this.
Neil Smith, Michael Bruce, Dennis Dunaway, and Alice Cooper.
Yeah, Dennis Dunaway, the bass player. I listened to an interview by him yesterday. Talked about when the band broke up and stuff. They were just going to kind of take a break. Alice was upset with one of the guys who's using drugs a little too strong, but Dennis said that wasn't that big of a deal. Kind of came with rock and roll. But
Dennis Dunaway is one of rock's most underrated bass players. Just go back and listen to any freaking Alice Cooper album, any song, and you're going to hear innovative bass lines all over the place. By the way, Royce, it looks like you got a new member from P401.
Oh yeah, P401 has bought
Congratulations.
P401 told me he was going to buy some memberships. It needed me to get that set up so it would work right. So
cool.
He gifted 5 Royce in the House memberships. So people need to go claim those. You can go claim those. Yeah, go.
Well, how do they claim it? I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, well, I've seen it actually done on your show as well. I think the $sign at the bottom of the chat. I think you go through that to claim it.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah. I remember Kimberly bringing it up on my show that it was happening, but I was disconnected to it and it disappeared before I could get to it. So
Paul has been a friend of mine for what has it been, Paul? 4 or 5 years. In fact, he was the first one to join my membership. P401 is Paul. Paul actually lives in Colombia. Paul lives in Colombia. He goes back to the shows you and I were on together, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, Talking Wax and stuff like that with Kate and Jeff Davidson and so many people. But Paul goes all the way back to that. He was kind of a regular there too, and he contacted me after the last show and said he was trying to gift some memberships, but I didn't have the tab turned on, so I turned it on this week and let him know.
So look at that. Nice.
So there's five memberships, 5 1-month memberships, and if people enjoy it, and I'm really going to get some more members only videos going right away, because I had quite a few on for a while, then slowly I started releasing them one at a time. But we're gonna get it all rectified here, because I really appreciate what Paul's done. I really appreciate everybody that's here, everybody that's joined the membership, made a super chat, any of that stuff, man. You are so appreciated.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me.
Some I'm
ahead,
curious about. They came on their 50th anniversary. They came out with their 50th anniversary basically compilation album. I haven't opened it or even listened to it, but basically it's their greatest hits. And, So I'm not sure what type of artwork or anything's inside. Like I said, I haven't opened it yet.
Right.
Even though I've had it for 2 years.
Yeah. So
and also during that tour, this was the album he came out with, Road.
Oh wow.
Yes, that's right.
Cool.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yep, so do I. That's great one.
Also came out with a CD on
that. That came out with Road. Yeah, I have that one too.
And also came with a picture of the current band, but with only Alice's autograph on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I got to tell you.
Yeah, that is cool.
Out of all the band members, the band I saw 2 years ago, the one that stood out to me the most was Nita Strauss. That girl can play. I mean, she is really, really good.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Ryan Roxy is every bit as good in my opinion. He's always on the opposite. If you're in the audience, he's on the left-hand side. That guy is insanely fluid on the guitar, and just more so all the time. But they're both excellent.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, we'll go ahead, Dan, and we'll get down below you to Dawson. Hey, Dawson, tell us something about Alice Cooper, brother.
Yeah, one of my early experiences was one of my parents had the stereo system up, and it was one of my first times actually hearing stereo. And the one album on the record player was Welcome to My Nightmare. And got to hear that on vinyl and have the vinyl experience, the stereo experience, and the Alice Cooper experience around the same time. It was a few months before Halloween, but I'm a fall baby, so I'm usually in the mood for Halloween. And the first eerie notes of the album, and it starts picking up, and then you hear the guitar riffs, and this creepy figure with a top hat just starts working his magic, and you're
Right.
into the world of Alice Cooper. So that was kind of my experience around 8 years old, with grade 5. Just one random day, and
Right.
Alice Cooper has been a staple in the collecting rock music ever since.
Right. Okay, right on, brother. All right, we shall slide on down to the one and only, the incomparable novice Nick.
Oh, jeez. God help us. I have not followed Alice Cooper's long storied career for too long. I've followed him, I guess, for the past, I don't know, 8 or 10 years.
Right.
Of course, we all grew up on his music and all their music, his solo career and his band, and quite an interesting person for sure. And just an amazing story, and someone that's, plays this dark soul, and yet is a follower of Christ, and preaches the gospel. Is just amazing how he is the epitome of yin and the yang, that the two things can coexist at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That there is no dark soul there, even though some of his antics are pretty wild and crazy. It's just that's the thing that amazes me the most about the man himself. Not so much his mystique, but who he is on and off the stage. It's like some people, they turn it on and turn it off, and he's always the same, but yet his personality on stage appears to be presented differently than who he is in normal life. So
Uh,
I think that's pretty cool. He's a hell of an artist, great music, just matter of time, and something I haven't always had, still don't have. That's one of the most hard to capture things in anyone's life is time.
right. Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
well, that Dr. Insomnia says real name Vincent Furnier.
yep.
That's exactly right. That is his real name. And
You
then
know
he
what,
hop-
Royce?
Yeah.
I was going to say Nick brings up an important thing here. It
Okay.
doesn't matter really uh, what your bent is on spirituality, whether you're Christian, Muslim, or atheist, or agnostic, or anything like that. Okay, with Alice Cooper, people don't get this, and Michael Jackson came to the same problem that Alice Cooper has always had, as far as getting across. Although Alice Cooper, I think, did it with a bigger smile, didn't take himself so seriously, and so it was easier to find him. But
Right.
if you remember at the beginning of I'm trying to remember the name of the song, off Thriller, and it's where he turns into the werewolf and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
It's dum
Yeah.
dum 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 dum. Right. So
Isn't that Thriller?
it's probably Thriller, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that begins, and he had to do this special disclaimer. In no way do I believe in the occult. Blah 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 blah. And I always got
Right.
that. And of
Right.
course, at that time he was still connected to the Jehovah's Witnesses group, and
True.
they were against anybody watching, like a lot of Christian groups do. Don't get wrapped up in the occult. Don't watch horror movies and all of that. Whereas some of us who have a Christian background, right? We saw it as just like going to the movies on a Saturday night and watch The Wolf Man. All right, that's Alice Cooper. It's a scary story. Don't get so wrapped up in the illusion that the band presents. It's a monster movie. It's a thriller novel that he presents, and it's quite clear. I don't think he's hypocritical at all by being a man of Christian faith, and yet at the same time coming out and representing a character that is pretty much demented, but it's always
Right,
done
right.
with a little bit of tongue planted firmly in the cheek. And you can see it in the glint of his eyes live and even in videos of him. And you
Yeah,
can hear it. You can hear that tongue in the cheek if you're
yeah.
listening to his music.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, yeah. No,
let's
there's no
just have a
doubt.
good scare, you know?
And
Right.
he's also said too, that Alice Cooper is a fictional character. And he
Right.
said,
Yeah.
but he said when he gets on stage, he said he transforms himself into Alice Cooper. He becomes Alice Cooper, just like an actor would.
Right.
Yeah.
A method actor would do that.
P401 Paul has a comment up here, and we were on a show years ago, and Dan was probably on it with us. He was
Oh,
a
yeah.
regular there, and Zach Nelson was dying of cancer, and that got played out on the show over a few months. When Zach kept coming on and talking about it, and finally, Alice Cooper did a show for him that played on that show. It was an inspirational piece for Zach. And that was really a cool thing for Alice to do,
Yeah, that was.
Remember that? Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I remember that, Paul. Caitlin was there too. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was cool. Oberheim, thanks, P401.
Even though Zach's father was, Harry Nilsson, Zach said he had never met Alice Cooper. And, so I guess I forgot who was it. Somebody in Alice Cooper's band, I think, set it up to do that little song for him.
Yeah. It was probably Ryan Roxy because he's tight with the owner of that show we're talking about. Okay, so P401, my pleasure. And another reminder here, I'm going to scroll up real quick. P401 has put up, he's gifted 5 Royce in the House memberships. You just have to go on and claim them. There should be a $ showing below the chat, and you go in there and go find the gifted memberships and claim them. And it's first come, first serve on those. And it was a really kind, generous thing for Paul to do. You get a 1-month membership to Royce in the House. And, if you like it, you can keep going if you want. If not, just keep coming to the chat. We appreciate you. So I just had to show that one more time. And then we'll get back. Angela's here now, and Rockin' Robin Bird, Dr. Insomnia. Caitlin loves Alice Cooper as much as anybody I know. She goes on his, what is it, a podcast, Kate? You watch every week, and she's told me about it many, many times. So anyway, obviously Chris found the link. He's back on. Son of a World War II vet. Hey, brother, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Alice's father and grandfather were pastors. That's right. Yeah. So it seems Alice came full circle. Yeah. This is great. I really enjoy. Look at these comments. James Redding, it is. We get so much cool stuff in here from the chat. John P., you got to see the guitar shredding tour. Sweet. Okay, Caitlin, long-term care. He is in long-term care, and I get a phone call every time something happens medically. Fortunately, it was nothing major. Now, okay.
That's about my father.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's why I had to jump off there.
No, I understand. We didn't know that was your father.
Okay.
Well, it was just something happened. Nothing major.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to be praying for you, Chris, praying for your dad.
Right.
I lost my dad. He was 56 years old. He got cancer at 49 and made it about 7 years. And finally it spread all over the place. It was, he was.
Yeah, you don't get as old as Royce and I without losing a few close ones, and then even dealing with the long-term stuff. Chris, my whole family got together. There's 5 siblings. We all took shifts. We were able to, right? Not everyone is, and took care of my mom. And it was on my shift. She passed away. I saw her take her very last breath. It was devastating. Yeah. So my heart goes out to you, brother. You know, it's a tough time.
Yeah. It is tough. We've all had loss, I mean,
we have.
I had 9 aunts and uncles on my mother's side and 11 on my father's side. They're long gone.
Me too, brother. All my aunts and uncles are gone,
Spent a lot of time visiting the California ones. The others were all back in New York, my mom's side. And I hadn't seen them since I was a baby, but I lost older brother and sister 10 months apart in their 40s.
No.
and one of my identical twin daughters at about 21 years old.
Yeah, I know you did. That's
Yeah.
a tragedy nobody should have to go through, brother.
Yeah.
And
No.
you know what? I will say this to the viewers out there. Yeah, you know, if you still have people in your lives that you wouldn't want to see go through similar things, or that you don't want to lose, and yet you've lost contact with them, or you don't see them as often, now would be a good time, because when you arrive at tomorrow, yesterday ain't coming back. You know, that's just all
No.
there is to it, you know.
And
So
whether yesterday's
grab your loved ones tight,
Yep.
and grab your friends tight and your loved ones tighter. That's the way
Yeah.
I say it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
True enough.
because not only will they go, but sometimes it's a long road getting there, and that can be even worse. So
It
Oh,
is.
yeah. 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 My mother lived with us for 5 years. Anyway, Caitlin listens to Alice Cooper's radio show every Monday through Friday.
Same here.
yeah,
Very glad. to
MF,
hear
maybe
it.
she was swearing. Listen to Alice Cooper.
well, he's on here, but it's from 10 till 3 in the morning. So
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, we've got quite a few people. Look at this. Johnny Z. Fradley has joined the chat. Michael sent me here. Well, thank you, Michael and Johnny.
Yay.
Welcome to the show, man. Good to see you, brother.
I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
we've got some serious tribal power in the comments tonight.
Tribal power. You know, hey, hit that thumbs up or like button. It gets the show distributed
Absolutely.
wider. And if you really want to help the show, other than the fact that you're here in the chat, which is a huge help, and I really, really appreciate it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you know, and then the notification bell to get a one-time notification of new shows that are coming on. But
You'd be doing me a solid, because Royce and my channel are connected, folks. So if you're here from my channel, I've said it over there and I'll say it again. Please subscribe to Brother Royce. He is the brother channel to my channel, and vice versa. We're
Thank you,
connected.
Michael.
That's why we stream back to back on Sundays. So
yeah, so we
keep
can,
that in
Amen.
mind.
hook each other up. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we got Jeff Davidson. You talk about someone that knows his music. Jeff Davidson, anytime you want to join us, Jeff,
Yep.
you're more than welcome. In fact, I'll put a link up right now if you'd like to join us, because
There you go.
Jeff really knows his music.
He's on it.
He's so on it. It's almost embarrassing when he comes on. I'm joking, of course, but he is really sharp, right, Dan?
Yeah, you know, as many podcasts as I've been involved in, you know, it's rare that you get to actually meet in person one of the people from the podcast. Well, Jeff Davidson and I got to meet each other once.
oh, nice.
And,
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
at a casino up in Oklahoma.
yeah.
One of it was the Rock and Brews. They were opened up a Rock and Brews, and
Yeah,
Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were
we're
supposed to be
supposed
there,
to show up.
and
Yeah.
they didn't show up. But we
Right.
still had some entertainment that day.
You still had an AC/DC tribute band, right?
Yes, from
Yeah,
Dallas.
that's
They
right.
went all-
That's right. And I remember you guys primarily went because the biggest KISS members were going to be there.
Yeah.
But I guess the AC/DC tribute band was good too. You
Oh,
said.
they're good every time. I've seen them probably
Yeah.
about 6-7 times, so they're
Oh,
really
no
good.
kidding! Wow, that's great. That's great. That's a great
Yeah.
story.
Yeah,
Hey,
just-
Royce.
Oh.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make say something about a comment that went on before I was able to come back on about his real name being Vincent Fernier. His real name actually isn't Vincent Fernier anymore. It's Alice Cooper.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
Had it
Yeah,
He changed it.
that's right.
legally
Right.
had it changed. So he's not Vincent Fernier anymore.
Right.
Formerly known as, perhaps, but
Elephant tinnitus. I want to remind everybody once again that our good friend Paul P401
got something out of this for it.
has gifted a bunch of memberships, 5 memberships. You guys can join for free the Royce in the House membership for a month.
Several have. I've noticed in the
Okay, good.
comments. Yeah, several
Yeah,
have
all you
already
have to
taken
do-
advantage.
All you have to do is go to the bottom of the chat. There should be like a $sign. Go into there to the gifts and claim yours, and you're set, and it's free. So,
Royce, you've got a super thanks from White Monkey.
oh, look at that, White Monkey. Thank you, brother. I was at
Thanks,
your,
White
I was
Monkey.
I was at your channel just the other day, and
Good channel.
White Monkey I gave snack money to Michael. So here's your snack money, Royce.
And he did. He was very generous on my stream. Thanks so
Yeah,
much, White
yeah.
Monkey.
Yeah, it used to be beer and cigarette money. Now it's snack money. It's all good, brother. Thank you. Hey, look at this. Steve Midthen's here. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Remember
Hey,
Steve?
Steve. Oh yeah, I remember Steve.
Yeah. Him and Robbie Detroit, they were good buddies, and I see them on each other's channels and stuff too. When I'm in there on Facebook, looking at their posts and stuff. How you doing tonight, Steve? Great. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. I always really like seeing you here, man. Steve's a great guy, total stand-up guy, music lover. Okay, Missionard 100 would love to see them play Yardbird songs like they did when they were kids. Wow. Dr. Insomnia. Here's my buddy Paul P401. I've learned so much about music from everyone on this panel. Well, thank you, Paul. We all learn from each other.
Yeah, we do.
But White Monkey, once again, I want to thank you so much. The super chats mean a lot. I know my channel is monetized, and sometimes it takes me 3 months to reach my $100 threshold from advertisement. I have reached it several months in a row in the past when I had a couple of shows that just really blew up. I may be close to hitting it in a month, thanks to the super chats and stuff that I've been getting, and thanks to you, White Monkey, because I know this is not your first one. Your second one at least. So thanks so much.
Third one.
Really appreciate it. Gives us all some extra incentive to keep going. And we put a lot of work into these shows. Michael can tell you. Michael, how many hours do you spend a week doing your shows? I mean,
40, Royce, I probably put 60 to 80 hours into my channel a week.
I believe it. Believe me, I believe that. That's
easily, and some weeks more than that.
I know.
It just happens.
It's not easy. Like myself, I'm still trying to work full time when I have work, and when I have work, it's a lot of work, and it's all day long, and sometimes I'm commuting both ways and things like that. So half the stuff I want to get done in a week, as far as putting new videos and shorts and things up to help the channel grow more. Half the time they don't get done just because I am so busy. But I dream of having a little more time, and I'm going to have to. I get up.
Well, Royce, that little more time's coming sooner than you think. You just got another $10 super chat, my friend.
Ooh. Well, you got to be kidding me.
No, and guess who it's by?
Is that just the facts, man, Dan?
Hey.
Oh my God, Dan! Thanks so much. My brother.
I'm trying to get a trend started here. Come on.
Steve Midthorn gave you another $10, Royce.
Are you kidding me?
You've got another one.
Oh my God.
Hey, see if I can help you with some stories from the new expanded 1977 edition of the Encyclopedia Rock. Hey, Michael, you're going to like this one again.
Hey, Steve, I just can't put you guys up fast enough. Thanks so much, brother. I really, really appreciate it. And I consider that a big bump. It's great. I thank you guys so much. So yeah, you got Just the Facts Man, Steve Midtham. Big shout out to you guys. Then we've got White Monkey came in, and then Paul P401 came in and gifted 5 memberships.
Royce, you've got another one from Ben Scheidegger.
There we go.
$5.
Oh, man, my head is spinning.
Thanks, Ben.
Ben, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that. This is second time for you. Third time's the charm. Yeah, third time the charm tonight for sure. But second one from you. Thanks so much. You guys are really helping this show get through the bumps. I'm telling you right now, because it takes a lot to get these. You think, oh man, I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers, I can monetize my channel. Then the month goes by and you made $17 in commercials, and the minimum to get paid is 100. It's like, 100. Oh, I guess it's not that. It's not what a lot of people think it is. But it's fun, and I'm here because I'm having fun. I like all you guys. I love all you people in the chat. My Nick, all my co-hosts up here on the panel with me, man. This is just too much. Thank you so much. Thanks, Ben. Thanks. Look at that, man.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna cut in.
Absolutely.
They're just stacked up there. You know, Ben and Steve Mitham and
Hey,
Dan
Royce,
and
I'm
then
gonna
White
cut in
Monkey.
here, buddy.
Okay, go
Oh,
ahead.
you can't just yet, Chris, because we just got $2 from Bill K.
Ooh,
Sorry, Bill.
hey, here
What?
we
All right,
go.
Bill.
Bill K. Hey, brother, how are you? How are you, Bill? Thanks so much, Bill. You know, Dan and I both know Bill is another one of us from the old team. Caitlin, Bill K, Jeff Davidson, me, Dan. We were all together on another show, and we all got to be friends. And you know what? We're still friends to this day. But Bill, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. I know you've been busy. I know there's a lot of shows out there for people to watch.
Well,
And
Bill comes in late lots. So.
Bill comes in late lots, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate when someone chooses my show to watch.
Absolutely.
When there's so much out there, there's a lot of competition for all you guys. So thank you so much, Bill. Please make us a regular. We appreciate you. I saw Alice Cooper tour Welcome to My Nightmare in Boston and Chicago, April Fool's Day, 1975. That's just great.
That'd be a good day to see it.
Yeah, James Redding. At least you love the work you do. I never had a job I loved. James, that's interesting because I tried to force myself, not doing this, but I've had all kinds of jobs. I've had jobs in hostile environments where companies were divided against competing people wanting to control the company, and you get caught in the middle. So I've gotten caught in hostile environments. Somehow I came out smelling like a rose with my name on a parking space on the building. But anyway, and I was, I think, well, how old was I? I was 21 years old. Yeah. In Compton, California, no less. But anyway, so so I've always tried to find fun in whatever I was doing. I had another job in Compton, California, working in a warehouse. I was the only white cat in there, and I had my black leather jacket on, working double-breasted, belted down to my knees. Everybody was, pimping around the warehouse, putting orders together. And one of the brothers walks up. He goes, "Hey, man, let's change leather jackets for the day." And mine was like worth 3 times what his was like. Well, okay, I'm trying to fit in. We changed leather jackets for the day. Then it was starting to get hard to find at the end of the day. I found him and we traded our jackets back. You know what I'm saying? There's other stories I can't even talk to on the air.
So are you trying?
Royce? Oh, go ahead.
Are you trying to tell us you're straight out of Compton?
Yeah, I'm straight out of Compton. That's exactly right. I was there for a while. I was living in North Long Beach, working in Compton. My favorite Chinese restaurant was on Compton Boulevard, the Red Chamber. I got taken to it by one of my Korean buddies I was working with at Anchor Lock. First time I'd ever had Chinese food that just blew my mind. It was so good. Of course, I was with Paul Yun. And it was so good that I went home, got my wife after work, and took her back for dinner. And we've loved Chinese food ever since. So anyway, Rampage Video. Thank you, Piccolina, for subscribing to Rampage Video. Piccolina, thank you so much. Helping out the crew here. I struggled. I love the name of your show and how you refer to your chat, Michael, the Tribe. We sat down, me and my wife and daughter, for a couple of hours one day trying to come up with something that would be equally as cool. And I got to tell you, there's nothing equally as cool as the Tribe.
Well, you know what, Royce? That came so organic. Sorry, Chris. But see, I use the word organic, and Chris pops off the screen. I'm telling you, it sets his square up. But it did. It really did. I'll tell you. I was going to say, and I wound up interrupting Dan there a moment ago. But and I don't remember which comment it was that said, "At least you enjoy your job." Now you asked me how much I put into my channel. I work it like I used to work as a psych nurse. When I was a psych nurse, I had a regular 40-hour week that usually wound up being anywhere from to 70 to 80, even more hours a week, because my family demands needed that kind of input, not necessarily because I loved my job, but I put the same kind of effort into my channel and what I present and how I put it out and everything. And I got to tell you, this now is my now full-time job, and I absolutely love what I do for a living,
I
folks.
can absolutely tell. Okay.
Yeah. And it is the first time in my life that I've got to do exactly the kind of work, because I work hard on my channel. I do a lot of research.
I know you do.
Yeah. And the effort is put in there. But this is the first time that I have no resentments over the effort. I understand what it takes, and I love it. I do my own editing on my own videos. That's part of the creative process. I'm fed because I'm an old musician, singer, songwriter from way back, and right now I'm putting that same kind of energy into the channel, and I'm having a ball. The first time
Michael,
I've ever had to work a double job and have fun doing it.
Michael,
Yeah.
you do have one resentment, Michael.
What's
Okay,
that, Nick?
everybody stand back. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Ugh.
Oh,
It's my mission to take that sucker down, Nick. It's my mission, and the tribe will back me.
Take him down, brother.
Hey,
We either take it down or we take it back, brother.
This
about-
comment from Douglas Gilbert is great. He remembers seeing Alice Cooper on Soupy Sales TV show.
Oh, boy, Soupy Sales. He goes back a bit, doesn't he?
That goes back a bit. Royce, where is my leather tribe? George, where is my leather tribe? That's I don't know. Yeah, there's
Someone else made the comment, the tribe is in the house.
Right.
But anyway,
Right.
I was going to say,
That's right.
I want,
That's right.
so when I put this channel together and I was going to put that much effort into it, I wanted it to be real. I always have made supreme effort to respond to comments. Sometimes I get so swamped, I cannot get to it. This week, like I said, I don't think I've put out as much material as I have since last Sunday. I mean, just one video after another, a stream after another.
Yeah.
And, we've been going ape crazy over here. And I got to tell you, it was organic in that that's very tribal to me. Not tribalism, but tribal, where a group of not even like-minded people, because we all, everybody in the comments here, everybody on the screen, we all come from different cultural backgrounds, and some of us from different countries. We have an international audience here, but we are united in our love. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this stream watching it right now. The love of good classic rock. That is the one thing we can agree on. And after that, we can even disagree on what is real rock and what's not, or disagree who's the best band or who isn't. But we can keep our disagreements on that level and unite and create a greater voice. Isn't that what a tribe is?
That is what a tribe is. And we are.
That's where it came from.
We're all part of the tribe. Everybody here is part of the tribe, Michael.
Right.
I just want to say one thing, and that is this is a pretty funny one here too. Soupy Cells flipped everyone off on his last day of work. I got another flipped everyone off story. Believe it or not, most of you probably already know this, but Jimi Hendrix people got together with the Monkees people, and they decided Jimmy needed a little more traction here in the USA. He just got back from England, where he blew the place away. All Rock's royalty was coming to all his shows. He came back. He did the Monterey Pop, and it was successful, but he still wasn't getting the recognition he was getting in England. So they got together and decided, well, maybe he should tour with more of a pop band and get more people watching him. So they got together with the Monkees of all people, and it was something like 27 stop tour with the Monkees. And he'd get up there and he got facing all these 14 and 15-year-old girls in the front rows with their parents screaming, "We want Davy, we want Davy." So Jimmy'd go, "Foxy lady," and he'd beckon them all to say, "Foxy lady," and they'd all say, "Foxy Davy," scream it back at him. And he finally, on the 7th show, he flew his guitar off, flip the audience off and quit the concert, quit the tour. I did a video on that. It was a lot of fun.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
The thing is, you gotta kind of wonder what were they thinking for that tour to begin with. I mean,
Yeah.
even back then, you know, they should have known better. They should have.
Well,
known
I think part of the story was Eric Burden had joined with a pop band, and all of a sudden he was starting to do really well in the USA, getting that extra recognition. Right? So they thought, let's give it a shot with Hendrix and the Monkees.
You know, when I saw the Monkees, Herman's Hermits open up for them, which was more realistic.
Henry the Eighth, I am. I remember when I sang that on Talking Wax. I was competing with Ashley Alexander. Oh my God! And I said,
I
Ashley,
hated that song when it came out. God, I hated that song.
I wound up singing that whole song during the show.
Oh, second verse, the same as the first. Oh God!
Chris,
Talk about running out of ideas as you sing the freaking song. You know. Second verse, same as the first.
Henry the Eighth, I am. Okay, so let's move on here. I'm going to show a couple of pictures real quick before I get through the show and forget that I have them. Wouldn't be the first time. So here we have what looks like a picture disc album, Revenge. You know, the return of the album that the world was afraid of, the Revenge of Alice Cooper. Okay, and so the reason Buxton is still listed here is because he is on, even though it was posthumous playing, he is on this album on one song, which is awesome. He's the only original member that's not there, except for the one song. Then here we are with the cover. And incidentally, Michael, you brought this up, but these covers were made by somebody who made, you know, the posters and the marquee for horror films. You know.
Oh yeah, look at the names of the band up on top, folks. Yeah. Then look at the lettering on Revenge of Alice Cooper, almost looking like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, only a little more creepier, right?
Yeah, a little creepier, right.
And then instead of listing the director Bob as the producer Bob Ezrin, they introduce him by saying directed by Bob Ezrin. So it's totally a movie poster, you know, which I'm totally cool with.
Right. Yeah, no, me too. Okay, then the next one is a picture of the box set right here. Okay. So it's not going to be just the album. There's 3 or 4 forms I understood that you could buy it in. But this here is the box set. You get the t-shirt. I believe it's CDs, not LPs. You do get a 7-inch, and then you get the small, I think that's a DVD. And this looks like some kind of a poster here. So anyway, so there is going to be a box set as well.
Well, so, there's a double album set that
a double album set. Okay, yeah. And I don't think that one's shown here.
Yeah, there's a 2 LP set, which I'm kind of wondering if that means that we're going to get the same thing we got on Road, because there's 14 songs. That's not a double album worth of material unless each song is like 7 minutes long each.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Somebody's already showed a couple of albums. So I'm going to go ahead and show a couple of things and a couple of stories to go with them. Okay, here's Alice Cooper, School's Out. And I did an Alice Cooper show, it's probably been about 1.5 years. And somebody said this opens up like a desk. And it really does. It's got all these perforations, and you take it all apart. And it also comes with the highly coveted pink panties. They come with this album. And what's funny is I came out here. I pull these things out of the covers and stuff, and take the plastic sleeves off, the protective sleeves, and I don't put it all away at night. I came back the next morning, and I opened this up, and I was like, what happened to the pink panties? They're missing. And I started going through all my other Alice Cooper albums to try to figure out where they were. You know, it was just blowing my mind. How could they disappear between the show last night and this morning first thing? And I looked down, and underneath my feet are the pink panties. They fell out last night when I was trying to put things away. And wound up on the floor.
Phew.
But anyway, this
There's no
I was going
shame.
to say it finally worked, folks, because I was the one that stole the panties and I got them right back under his desk just in time.
Anyway, this has got these perforations and fold outs and all kinds of stuff going on here. And it's a cool album. Of course, we all know this one's a cool album. And I've also got, and I'm going to make sure I don't lose these again. Because people will ask you, did you get the ones with the pink panties? Okay. Alice Cooper Killer. Also a great album. And once again, it is a little gatefold. A one-sided gatefold. But a gatefold nonetheless. And yeah, this is a great album too. Then I also have Welcome to My Nightmare. Welcome to My Nightmare. Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first album Alice Cooper did when he left.
Band,
Post the Alice Cooper band. And then we have How Can You Go Wrong with Alice Cooper Goes to Hell? Right? Okay. I don't have Billion Dollar Babies. I'm really bummed about that. I do have Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. And this, of course, well, what can you say about a Greatest Hits album? It's got all the big hits on it. Then, of course, Alice Cooper Road, a 2-album set with a, what is it, a small DVD here too? Yeah, that's right. Here it is right here. Yeah. This is a wonderful album, double album, gatefold, and we were all really pleased when this came out. I know Michael really liked it. I liked it instantly, and I think I'm going to have all this stuff playing in the background if I'm in here working in my office. But that's all I have for Alice Cooper, my little collection. And so let's see what else do we have to say here. We'll go ahead and take a look. Okay, The Revenge of Alice Cooper is a high voltage journey into vintage horror and classic 70s shock rock. Yeah, he's known as the godfather of shock rock, not the original inventor of shock rock. If inventor is not the right choice of words, because that distinction goes to, let's see, Screamin' Jay Hawkins. His most famous song was I Put a Spell on You. He actually wrote I Put a Spell on You, that's been done by Creedence and so many other people. But his history, Screamin' Jay Hawkins has been seen as a pioneer for shock rock after the success of his 1956 hit, I Put a Spell on You. Hawkins began to perform, and this is great, and I meant to get some pictures loaded on this, and I didn't have time, but Hawkins began to perform a recurring stunt at many of his live shows. He would actually start the show by climbing out of a coffin, okay, and then sing into a skull-shaped microphone. And I've had pictures of all that. They're all online. And he set off smoke bombs. So he's coming out of a coffin. He's singing in a microphone that's shaped like a skull, and there's smoke bombs going off. So anyway, it was pretty crazy stuff. And he was the real innovator of the shock rock. And then Alice Cooper became the godfather because he carried it on and made it even better, you know. So anyway, so the Revenge of Alice. Okay, so the album features the posthumous appearance by Glenn Buxton, the original guitar player, the only person that in the band that's no longer with us. The band's original guitarist passed away in 97 through an unreleased recording that seamlessly blends the past with the present on What Happened to You, featuring his original guitar part. If that weren't cool enough, one of the bonus tracks, box set limited smart format, also includes a long lost gem from 1970, a raw alternative take of Return of the Spiders. Not the version heard on the album Easy Action, was recently unearthed from original multi-tracks missing for 50 years and now enhanced and mixed by Bob Ezrin. Okay, so Alice, Neil, Michael, Dennis have reunited with their producer Bob Ezrin in an old school recording studio in Connecticut, rekindling the magic from the 70s. Okay, so let's get the
Now, Royce, there's also something to.
Go ahead, Michael.
There's also something to kind of go an addendum to all of that is
Okay.
Alice stated quite clearly in an interview that this is only 1/4 his project. He doesn't have the final say on purpose like he would for his solo efforts.
Yeah, right.
And he clearly says, I only have 1/4 say on what goes on this album, what is written for this album, how the song is put together, how it was recorded. This is a true group effort in every sense of the word, whether it's good or bad. We know that its first single is definitely sounding very classic Alice Cooper. So if that holds up, and that's been their approach, wouldn't you rather go see this band than his current band? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Absolutely. I'd love to go see him. Love to go see him. Absolutely.
Me too.
You know, I told you guys, I mentioned earlier that I saw that I watched an interview with the bass player, Dunaway.
Dennis Dunaway,
Dunaway. And what a cool guy. He said on the new album, he'll write a bunch of lyrics down and he'll try not to get, too detailed because he gives them to the rest of the guys in the band. And they all work on them. And he says, I don't care what they come up with, even if I get any writing credits for getting it started, but it always comes back really good. And I always like it. So there's a real team effort. It's just kind of amazing.
Well, that's why I liked Alice Cooper to begin with. All right. I was a fan of Neil Smith, Dennis Dunaway, Glenn Buxton, Alice himself. And who's the other guy I'm not thinking of right now? Glenn Buxton. Then there's the other.
Neil.
Anyway, Neil Smith I mentioned. I mentioned Dennis Dunaway. I'm missing a guitarist there. Anyway, so I was as big a fan of them. I didn't feel the pressure to have to go see Alice in order to collect his music and to enjoy the albums and play them until their grooves ran out. It's because of the songs. The songs, the material are that good. Look at the lyrics of Desperado. And it's obvious a song about the Old West and a gunslinger meeting out in or is it? Is the gun the needle? And is it an analogy of addiction, right?
Right.
And so you start looking at things like that. They're reworking of what's the classic movie that had the Jets versus, and they replicated. What
you're talking about?
West Side Story.
West Side Story.
All right.
That's right.
So that whole portion, is it on the second side of School's Out, where the Alice Cooper, when you're a jet till you from your first cigarette to your last dying breath, when you're a jet, and they get that mixed into an Alice Cooper cat fight, midnight cat fight, die. And it becomes a whole different freaking creation based on West Side Story, a piece by West Side Story, inculcating pop culture upon pop culture, creating new pop culture. Right?
Okay, hold on one second. Billy Spleen, can we talk about subscriber buyer Michael Nolan, please? Subscriber buyer.
I am a subscriber buyer. This is Bill. You know who this is? Subscriber buyer. This is what's his name that we ran out on here before. Richard James, or one of his ilk, Royce. Okay, and he's made this comment before, which is freaking bullshit. The growth of my channel is well documented. You're a dirty piece of crap as far as I'm concerned. You can get off this stream right now, mucker futter. I swear to God, people like this piss the hell out of me.
Okay,
Bye-bye,
Michael,
Richard.
give me
Bye-bye,
give me 1 second here,
you
my friend.
piece of crap.
Buyer has been we've banned the user and deleted his comment. Okay.
Jeez.
I didn't really
Yeah.
understand what he was saying at first.
Yeah, I
until
didn't
you spoke-
at first
then when
either
you
because,
spoke up, I got it, you know.
I'm not waiting for the assassinations, Royce. But when
No.
they come up, I'll knock them down every damn time.
Well, I'm glad you gave me some clarification.
Son of
on
a
that.
bitch don't know shit about me and should keep his mouth shut. But you know what?
Yeah. Well,
I've
you know
pissed
what?
somebody
I
off
tell you what.
somehow, and it's a Richard James ally, or it's Richard James himself with another dumb, stupid troll account, and that's why I deputized about 4 or 5 of my listeners on my channel tonight. And everybody on this panel will also be, if you guys show up early enough, I'll put you on as moderators
Yeah,
because we're
right.
getting that crap off of the channel. We're here to talk about music.
Michael, we're here to talk about music. We're not trying to do anybody any harm. We're not trying to make anybody feel bad. We're here to have a good time and enjoy one another's company and just have a good time and talk about music. And it's really frustrating when these people come on and try to disrupt the show. We don't even know them. We've never disrupted anything they've done, nor do we want to. You know, find something else to do with your time. God.
All right.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm going to jump in here.
Go ahead.
You guys cut me off last time, and now I'm going to say something.
And we'll never do
I
it
got a
again.
few stories to say about Alice Cooper, anyhow.
Okay, good.
One personal one. When I got to see him twice, it was incredible.
Oh, nice.
At the Windsor Casino, or Caesars Windsor here, with 5,000 people. The first show, I didn't have tickets. My girlfriend and I, we were walking into. They have a little lounge area you can go and eat. Well, my aunt and uncle were walking out at the same time. They were going, "Hey, you guys going to see the show?" No, we don't have tickets. They handed them right to us. Go, here you go. Like, oh, cool.
What
an excellent show. And then the second time we got our own tickets. But also I wanted to say about when Alice Cooper first made it big, like he was born in Detroit, grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and then put out his first couple albums with Frank Zappa, as we already mentioned. But when his, what is it called? When the Love It to Death album came out, and everything was kind of moving a little bit slow for him. CKLW here in Windsor. It's a stereo. It was an AM station back in the late '60s and '70s. It's here in Windsor, but it was a Detroit station. They were playing for Detroit audiences, and the production manager for the station, Rosalie Tremblay, who Bob Seger wrote the song Rosalie about, if you ever want to hear that. But her son had the album, and he was always listening to the song, I'm 18, I'm 18. So she decided to play the single on CKLW, which had a 50,000 watt antenna and was able to pick up 26 different states on a clear night with the signal bouncing off of Lake Erie. So she played it. It became a hit within a week. And after that, he just kept putting out more and more hits. But she actually helped break Alice Cooper by playing I'm 18 because her son kept listening to it over and over. So she said, what the hell, I'll put it on the radio. And lo and behold, that ended up being a major hit.
Wow.
And point of also, the song, was it Beth? From Kiss.
Yeah,
her daughter was listening to it all the time, and she decided to put it on there and help break Kiss with that song too. My granddaughter sang Beth with the drummer of Kiss. Yeah. Okay. So you're not going to talk me into play that again, right? Okay. No.
I'm just kidding.
Well, you got me on here. I'm going to show off a couple of things I got.
Sure. Go ahead.
I got a couple of packages. The only issue with them is they're all slipcases, but it's
okay.
The original 10 Alice Cooper albums.
Oh, no kidding!
Oh.
Wow.
But they're slipcases. So if you want to listen to them, you got to kind of buy the little like jewel cases for them. But it's
Okay.
got all 10 of the original albums, and, which is awesome. Then I got the greatest hits like you did, Royce.
Yeah.
And I got one more. I got some of his later stuff. I got a greatest hits.
Oh yeah.
Got some of his 80s and 90s stuff on there.
Classic,
Plus some,
classic Alice Cooper. Yeah.
yeah, some really cool live stuff. Under My Wheels, $1 Billion Babies, I'm 18, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Only Women Bleed, School's Out. So all live stuff on here as well. But,
Good stuff.
yeah. So that, and in a little bit, I can read you a little bit from here, but I'll give somebody else a chance to talk right now.
I was waiting on the
Okay.
book.
Oh,
Well, the
okay.
book's coming, but we'll give it a minute.
Bible.
Okay, let me make you small, and we'll get to Novice. Have you got something you'd like to say?
Oh, we just
Oh,
lost it.
he jumped off.
Okay, wait a minute. What's going on here? Add the stage. Okay, Novice, do you have something you'd like to add?
Yeah. Did anybody mention the chicken story with Frank Zappa?
Oh boy.
Mm.
Okay, no.
Well,
Oh,
okay.
the chicken story.
The
Okay,
chicken story. Well, nobody in the band was familiar with farm animals,
right.
and they had a bag full of feathers, a pillowcase full of feathers on stage that was part of their act. And somehow during the act, a live chicken got loose on the stage
Right.
and into the bag of feathers. And well, not being familiar with farm animals, they figured the chicken could fly.
Could fly.
So they
Yeah.
picked it up and they threw it out into the crowd. And of course, it dropped like a rock.
Right.
And somehow a story was created that Alice had ripped the head off of it and drank the blood. And of course,
Oh,
none of
God.
this was real, but that was the story being circulated. The next day, Frank Zappa calls and asks Alice if there's any truth to the story. He says, no, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. And he told Alice, no matter whatever you do not deny that you did that. Whatever the publicity is great, do not ever deny that you ripped the head off it and drank the blood.
Well, I guess they were trying to.
A chicken could fly. Talk about
They were
funny.
trying to get him on a par with Ozzy, But
Well,
what was funny is he did that, but what I was gonna say is he got his big break from Frank Zappa, produced
Yeah.
his first album. And
That's a great story.
Frank said, well, just come on over to the house at I think he said
7.
6 or 7. But he
Yeah.
meant in the evening, and Alice showed up with his band in the morning at 7. And Frank's like, what the hell?
Any band that's ready to play that kind of music at 7 in the morning is my kind of people.
Absolutely.
That was Zappa's opinion. And he signed him straight to a 3-record deal right then.
Hey, Dan, are you ready to talk about Cooper?
Well, one thing that happened to me back in 1974
Okay.
when I joined the Navy, I was at boot camp in August of '74, and after about we didn't have any freedom at all during boot camp, of course.
Okay.
But right around our 6th week, they decided, also during that same time, that's also during the same time when Nixon resigned, and we had no clue at boot camp. We didn't get the news, and but during week 6, they said, well, you guys need to kind of know what's going on, so if you guys pull your money together, we'll allow you to go to the PX and buy a 8-track stereo. So we all pulled our money together, and we were allowed to buy 1 8-track apiece. And I bought, and Alice Cooper had just released their greatest hits. And
Oh, nice.
so that was the first 8-track I bought at boot camp.
No
was,
kidding.
Alice Cooper.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Was that your first 8-track ever, or just at boot
No,
camp?
just at boot
Yeah,
camp.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I still remember my first 2 8-tracks I bought together. One was Cream, Disraeli Gears, and the other one was Creedence Clearwater's Bayou Country. Loved them then.
Yeah.
I still love both those albums too. Okay, great. Thanks. That was a great story. Okay, Dawson, what have you got to say for yourself, young man?
Yeah, I got something to show you.
Okay, good.
And I'm wearing Michael's favorite band shirt right now. But on the back of it, the really cool band opened up for Motley Crue. So
There you go.
Motley Crue final tour with Alice Cooper. Right. That is cool. Yeah.
This was the second
Yeah.
time I seen Alice Cooper. He had more of it was more dark. It was more black and white, and just it was probably his heaviest one. I've seen him a few times, and that was the one where 2017 is my first time seeing Nita Strauss because she was switched from Orianthe, and
Right.
it was just a great setup because well, Motley Crue was inspired by Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper inspired pretty much any band ever that wore makeup or just went beyond, jeans and a t-shirt.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was just I don't know how to describe it. It was just watching a big movie and everybody was part of the audience. It was one of the times where everybody was involved in it because we either dressed up or we had our black t-shirts on and our fists up in the air, and that was a good experience. So
that's
there's a shirt
totally cool. Totally cool. Yeah, Zappa recognized as bad publicity. Okay, well, thanks. Yeah, there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's all good publicity. That's what I was always told. Anyway, thanks for that. So let's see what else we got here, guys. Let me take a look. We have okay, so The Revenge of Alice Cooper is going to be released July 25th, already mentioned, also available in a limited box set, which I actually showed. Okay, so history. The original Alice Cooper band, led by Vincent Furnier, pre-Alice Cooper, who later adopted the stage name Alice Cooper, was formed in 1964 in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. They initially consisted of Furnier, guitarist Glenn Buxton, deceased, Michael Bruce, bassist Dennis Dunaway, and drummer Neil Smith.
Michael Bruce is who I couldn't think of earlier.
I just thought of that when I said that. The band released 7 studio albums between 69 and 73. And I did already read those off, but that band broke up in 75, having legally changed his name to Alice Cooper. Furnier began a solo career that year with the concept album Welcome to My Nightmare, which I have right here. During his career, he sold over 50 million records. Cooper has experimented with various musical styles, mainly hard rock, shock rock, heavy metal, glam metal, as well as new wave, art rock, and industrial rock. Okay. And he went on with his solo band to do 22 studio albums. That doesn't count a zillion singles and comps and greatest hits and things like that. But he started off with Welcome to My Nightmare, then Alice Cooper Goes to Hell, Lace and Whiskey, From the Inside, Flush the Fashion, Special Forces, Zipper Catches Skin, Da, Constrictor, Raise Your Fist and Yell, Trash, Hey Stupid, Hey Stupid, The Last Temptation, Brutal Planet, Dragon Town, The Eyes of Alice Cooper, and Dirty Diamonds. Okay. Along Came a Spider. Okay. Welcome to My Nightmare, Paranormal, Detroit Stories, and the 2-album set, the last one that he'd put out, Road, in 2023. So anyway, that's kind of Godfather of shock rock, highly theatrical, macabre stage shows, drawing from horror films, vaudeville, and garage rock, paved the way for the shock rock genre. He is known for incorporating props like electric chairs, guillotines, I've seen them all, and fake blood into his performance. And anyway, that's pretty much the narrative I had. After that, it's just whatever we want to talk about, as we've been doing anyway. So anyway, guys,
I have a question.
How about the greatest disappointing moments from Alice Cooper? Like the album cover, Muscle of Love. I hated it then. I hate it now. And I also hate Only Women Bleed, almost ruining that album. Other than that's a great album. but I hated that song. Ugh.
Okay. Well, we're not going to like all of them from anybody, but
See what trolls do to me, Royce?
oh
See,
yeah, no,
my whole demeanor starts looking at the negative. Alice Cooper's most
right.
disappointing moments, you know.
Yin
Yeah, you
yang,
know what?
brother. Yin and yang.
I hate these damn trolls that come on,
Well,
And
you know what
sometimes-
I'm going to do on my channel is I'm
Yeah.
going to have everybody do a timeout on them, and then I'm going to report them before I ban them. That's how I'm going to
No,
handle it.
that's
So,
a good idea. Yeah.
yep, every single time.
Every single time.
Yep.
Hey, Oberheim, Brandon, our good buddy from down under, our mate Brandon. No worries, mate. No worries. Just let me know that we're 3 shy on the likes, the thumbs ups of hitting that first milestone of 50. So if there's anybody out there that hasn't hit that, do me a proper and smash that
Get it
thumbs
there.
up button. Thank you so much.
3 more, and Royce shows up in more home feeds, and
Yeah.
then the channel grows. People discovering for especially streams. Shares are important, folks.
Do
If
these
you
count?
share this stream, that's where Royce will get new subscribers.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. And I'll make a final impassioned plea during the show. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you get a one-time notification when the next show is coming on. And that's a great rate. That doesn't cost anything, and it's a great way to support the channel. It just helps us to keep growing. Thank you.
We've
all
hit the 50.
we have.
Thanks for
Thank
the heads
you.
up, Oberheim.
Yes,
Appreciate that.
Brandon, thanks, brother. Thank you so much.
That comment you just had up about where Alice Cooper got their name.
Yes.
Now what I just read, because I was curious about that too. They said the reason they picked the name Alice Cooper, I guess the band selected the name. They came up with the name. The reason they came up with that name because the name sounded so wholesome in comparison to what they were doing on stage. So you would hear this
so
wholesome.
funny.
I heard it came from Mayberry.
Mayberry.
Yeah.
I always assumed it was the first name Alice kind of came out of that whole Alice doesn't live here anymore vibe. It sounded very 60s, that it sounded very classic rock. But
or even
Alice never looked
Wonderland.
into it.
Even
What's
Alice
that?
in Wonderland, Wonderland, because that's kind of psychedelic mind stuff,
As John Lennon said many times, he loved that kind of fantasy stuff and wrote from that kind of trip, that kind of literature approach, So yeah, you're right, Dan.
How they got the name is Alice Cooper said that he liked the contrast in things. So Alice was from Alice in Wonderland. He liked the nice names. And then there was some criminal or somebody named something Cooper. And he's like, hey.
Oh, DB Cooper, maybe?
DB Cooper jumped out of a plane with a couple of $1 million. Yeah.
And no one's ever found him.
No.
See, I also heard that.
They never did.
See, I heard it was.
They put the names together. And
one of the band's all-time favorite movies was Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, starring Betty Davis with that Kane makeup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
I can see that.
And Barbarella,
trippy,
the makeup and such again. Barbarella.
I wasn't looking at the makeup in Barbarella, as I recall.
Kevin Hall, thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
I was looking at wherever the makeup wasn't, brother.
Hey, Michael, you're not alone. Joseph Blue hates women bleed.
I'm glad somebody, it was such a monster hit for him. You can even say, it was a very, but I was already done with I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, sentiments. I was already done with that. I was done with it the second I heard it. Either we're all equal and we get beyond that, but I'm not going to sit here for the next 30 years and let you tramp on your newly found freedom in front of my face. And I hate, to me, it seemed like a politically safe song for him to write about. And maybe it came from his heart, and it's a good song, and it talks about it, but the fact that they use the word bleed to kind of, I know he's Alice. I hate it. I just hate
Let's
it.
all ask Kimberly.
Well, James
I don't
Redding,
even like the tune. It sounds
Right.
too melodramatic, like he's a balladeer, Nick, and he's not. His voice doesn't fit the balladeer kind
It's
of thing.
I like
as
this
you
song.
replied to me earlier today. Say just what you mean. Don't
I know.
sugarcoat it.
well, I've gained a whole new perspective on that song. I used to kind of like it.
I would, Nick, but I'm too shy.
Yeah, we all
Well,
know that.
Well, James Redding is absolutely right here, and I don't want to get into the politics of it, but he was watching the Pope's funeral, and some really terrible things were, being said about the Pope. Which
Oh yeah, well they like to tear people down after the fact. I know he had his critics all along. Every pope has, every pope will. Okay, so whatever that is, but what better time to shoot a person down than when they just pass away? That's usually when the dirty underwear comes out, right?
That at his funeral, yeah.
Or the
Yeah,
pink
whether you
panties
were a
falling on the
fan of
floor.
him or not, have some freaking respect.
Exactly, some respect.
You want to talk about negativity? Wait a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, start working on a documentary. Then maybe it's time, if you've got even a story to tell. But now, bad taste, really
Yes.
bad taste.
Right. Hey, James Watson made a great comment. Dawson's still singing Dancing Queen.
You want me to, Royce?
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong at all. I'd say 40.
I'll sing "Only Women Bleed." I'll serenade.
Oh my goodness.
Well, you know what? I forget which one of the panel just said it. I wasn't looking right at the panel. Maybe it was Dawson who said, I like Only Women Bleed. You know what, Dawson? Most people love that song. It's one of his biggest hits. It was a hit.
I always kind of liked it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just my opinion. I know I'm spitting against the wind when I said that. And a lot of people, I'm surprised I haven't gotten feedback from me hating the Muscle of Love cover. But to me, it was disgusting.
I agree with you there on that one, yeah.
I mean, and I was a young teenager who was quite used to locker room talk, had a bit of a locker room sense of humor myself. And I thought, even me, that's disgusting, but I bought it because I was a fan. I kind of hid it around underneath the shelf somewhere.
Wait, Michael, you paid for a Muscle of Love? What?
Now don't start it. You'll get another troll coming out after me,
I'm
Nick.
so bad,
My God. You hear that, Willie
here
boy?
we go. The book.
Yeah.
Put it in here. There we go. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, he was born in Detroit, 1 mile away from me across the Detroit River.
Oh, wow.
So says after they got the band together, in Beatle hats and yellow corduroy jackets, they played mostly Rolling Stones material under the names The Earwigs, Spiders,
I
and
remember that.
And then after being a local hit in Phoenix, they shifted operations to LA, where they appeared under the bill Alice Cooper, eked out a living at bars and club circuit before being discovered by Shep Gordon, who led them to Frank Zappa. And then after that Frank Zappa, whose label released the Undistinguished Pretties for You in 1969 and Easy Action the following year, neither did anything to suggest that Alice Cooper was going to be much more than a rock and roll freak show. And after a year of further scuffling around LA, the outfit moved to Detroit with $100,000 in debt.
Oh, wow.
They lived there in a motel room with 5 guys. All 5 members lived in the same hotel room. And then Alice was saying that he could empathize with a city that had produced such similarly high energy bands as the Stooges and the MC5.
Yeah.
But then they met Bob Ezrin and recorded Love It to Death. And the first single, which, as I explained earlier, was played by Rosalie Tremblay at CKLW and broke it across North America. But it also says it's the equivalent, America's equivalent of My Generation from The Who. Basically, I'm 18.
Yeah.
But let me go on a little bit here, and then I'll.
I can. That's a fair connection, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 18, and My Generation. Yeah.
All right. Killer enhanced the growth of the record reputation and utilizing theater of absurd stage show. Alice chopping up dolls and employing props such as electric chairs, boa constrictors, and gallows were soon established as top U.S. box office attractions.
Yeah.
Title tracks from 72's School's Out collection became million seller and broke the band in the UK. However, early 73 Billion Dollar Babies album, though American tour of the same name, was one of the biggest money-making tours of its time.
It's probably their Abbey Road. That's probably their best produced and glossy album, and probably my favorite.
Yeah, well, it
Barely
says,
beating out Killer, but yeah.
It says Billion Dollar Babies saw the start of Alice Cooper's descent into self-parody and grossed out theatricals, evidence, and all subsequent activities. In 74, Cooper axed the original band members. Following year, they cut Welcome to My Nightmare with Dick Wagner and Steve Hunter on guitar, Practice John on bass, Whitney Glenn on drums, and Joseph Sierkowski on keyboards, who had all played for Lou Reed prior to recording Welcome to My Nightmare with Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it says after that, elected and School's Out, his albums have slid towards vapidity. But that's just, but that was in 1977 from the editors of the New Musical Express. No,
And you know what? There's truth in that. Some of his albums haven't been his, solo albums haven't been my favorite. I'll kind of lose interest in him, and all of a sudden I'll hear a song like "Feed My Frankenstein." I go, "Oh, he's back!"
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I like Marcus Thompson's comment here. Alice Cooper was one of the Hollywood vampires with John Lennon, Harry Nilsson, and Mickey Dolenz, and Keith Moons. That's exactly right. I did a show on that. Alice Cooper was president of the Hollywood Vampires.
Yeah, he was the one of the founding.
Keith Moon was vice president. Then they had all these other, Harry Nilsson. Harry Nilsson had become close with John Lennon. And when John Lennon was experiencing his, what they call the Lost Weekend, which lasted close to 2 years, he moved to L.A. Him and Yoko weren't a couple at the time. He'd come out and he'd come to all the meetings with his buddy Harry Nilsson.
The best years of his life.
Yeah.
They'd go down to the clubs. They went down, and Harry Nilsson taught John Lennon to drink Brandy Alexander's, and that's not all they would do. They might snort some cocaine or stuff. They go down to one of the clubs, and the Smothers Brothers comedy act would be down there on Sunset doing their comedy routine, and they'd sit there insulting them. And John Lennon, I think he punched a waitress or something. They got kicked out. It was really quite a time for them. But they said they loved Keith Moon. One of the funnest things about Keith Moon is he'd go to all the costume stores in the Sunset area, Los Angeles area. They never knew what he was going to come dressed like. He might show up at one of the drinking club meetings, which incidentally were on Sunset in the Rainbow Club upstairs, and that room was reserved for the drinking club. There was even a sign down below. I've been in there and I've seen the sign. Anyway, so
Alice Cooper
had all their meetings upstairs. They had a hell of a lot of fun. And they never knew how Keith Moon was going to show up dressed. He might show up looking like the Queen of England, a French maid, in a tight dress and things like that. He always had some crazy costumes on. The guy was just a real wild man. They had a lot of fun up there. But anyway,
I just saw an interview with Alice Cooper, and he said that Keith Moon wound up a guest at his house for like 3 weeks, just quite by accident. and the whole time dressed up. You never knew what he was going to be parading around that house
No,
in,
that's exactly right. And not only that,
often in women's clothes. You know,
no, often, most of the time. In
yeah,
fact, Alice Cooper formed a softball team from the drinking club, and they would play police and fire departments.
yeah. But he
But
said, Alice Cooper also said of Keith Moon that Keith Moon, in his opinion, is the greatest drummer in rock. I say he's the second greatest. So
behind Bonham.
so I don't disagree with him too much there.
Well,
And he said that the reason he got away with being Moon the Loon was he was a real sweetheart of a guy. Everybody loved him.
Yeah. Well, Michael, we did the show on Cream last week, and I wound up listening with a very, very close ear
Intent
to
here.
a lot of
Yeah.
Cream music, and in particular, I was picking up a lot of the drummer, the drummer of the Cream, and I will
Ginger
tell
Baker.
you, Ginger Baker. I remember when I was a teenager, 15, 16 years old, everybody was talking about him being the best rock drummer alive. And
Yeah, I remember
tell
him
you,
being number one on one list, then you'd have
that was-
Bonham on another list,
No,
Moon
I know,
on
but-
another.
But at that
Yeah.
time, that was pre-Bonham, pre-Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
66,
Oh, yeah.
7,
Buddy
but
Rich.
I might be hard pressed to
Gene
put
Krupa.
Moon definitely in front of Ginger Baker, because man, take another listen to Ginger Baker to see what I'm talking about. If you haven't really,
Speaking of the Alice Cooper band,
okay,
did we
Go
are
ahead.
tonight's Alice
those
Cooper,
were my
right?
closing statements. I'm done.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. Go ahead. No. And these are
No,
yours. Go ahead.
just a short story about Alice Cooper when they moved to Detroit, now Los Angeles, and all. He stated that the people in Southern California just didn't get him and his band and their type of music. They were doing heroin, where the guys in Detroit were drinking beer, and they got them. They understood who they were, and they made it there because they were just on two different levels of mind inducing numbness.
Well, think of their history. Chris just gave us a good history, how they
Right,
broke and how they couldn't break for a long time. They're a freaking bar band, Nick.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
the DNA of any freaking good super group. A bar band working their way into the business where we don't see that anymore.
Leonard Skinner
Yeah.
is one.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
Absolutely. And
Well,
so was
yeah.
Chicago under a couple of names and then finally, but they earned their chops in bars. That's my kind of rock and roll. That's where I earn my money.
Yeah,
As
Even
a rock.
Led Zeppelin
Michael.
was a
Yeah.
bar band when they first came to the U.S. They were
Yeah,
playing all kinds of little bars and dives on their very first tour. before they
exactly,
went
Nick,
to the West
Chris.
Coast.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And
Yep.
I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you, any band that can sound good in a bar
yeah.
is a damn good band, because
Absolutely.
a bar, you don't have usually more than 200 people, but let's say a large bar, you get 350 in there on a crowded night. That's a very small and intimate yet rather large crowd to play from or in front of. And bands who show up at college campuses and play in front of 2,000, that's intimate, right?
Well,
And bands that come from that thumbprint, folks, they
on-
got something to offer by the time they break, and we're not getting that these days.
On the flip side of that, 300 to 500 people in a bar that you can sound good in,
Yeah.
there's also super groups, out of this world bands that have sang in front of 3 people
Right,
for weeks at a time.
right.
Right? We
Absolutely.
can all name them.
Okay, so I'm gonna step back. Anybody got a closing comment? Let's go for it.
No, I've got something.
Yeah. Okay, Dan. Good. I was actually hoping.
Frank
ahead.
Zappa is the one that signed signed Alice Cooper to begin with. I kind of wonder if there's any things that they recorded back then that's still probably in Frank Zappa's vault. And
Oh, wow.
you and I know Joe Travers, the
vault master, yeah,
the vault
for
meister, yeah.
Zappa. Yeah, he was the
So
drummer for Frank. Yeah.
So if you ever have a show about Frank Zappa, we ought to see if we got to get Joe Travers on here.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because we might actually have a shot at that, because because we did every week on Talking Wax. Joe was there, so he knows who we are. But he would have a whole lot of insight on that signing possibly, or if there's anything that's been unreleased from Alice Cooper that's still in the Frank Zappa vault.
Right.
Something to think about.
No, absolutely. I really like that idea. Do you know how to get a hold of him?
Probably be easy to find out though.
Think so? Okay. Yeah, no, I like that idea a lot. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, we spent some show time with him, didn't we? Yeah. And I remember when they finally released some new music from the vault. Do you remember that?
He's a funny guy too.
No, he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy for sure. Okay, anybody else? Closing comments, folks? Go ahead, Dawson.
Yeah, I know someone who knows. I know someone who knows Dennis Dunaway's wife, who talked to Dennis Dunaway and his wife not too long ago and met him.
Oh.
So I can maybe look into that more. But I guess for closing comments for Alice Cooper, well, early on when he was breaking into Canada and Buffalo, one of the rock critics talked about Pretties for You, and they said that it was the worst piece of vinyl that was ever recorded, and it should be burned right away. Well, Alice Cooper sure showed that critic with a 50-something year career, and he's still got it.
Yes,
so that's
he does.
my take on
absolutely. Okay, anybody got a closing comment?
Yeah, I throw one in there just to touch on what Dawson was saying. Before they moved back from LA to Detroit, there was a story that they were all kind of living in the, 5 guys in a hotel room, just like they ended up doing in Detroit. And they said they were reading through an article in the newspaper, and somebody was doing a review of one of their shows, and they said, "Oh, this is the world's worst band," and Alice Cooper said they just looked at each other, high-fived each other, and shouted, "Hey, we made the news! Somebody knows about us."
Yep.
So that was what they were. They kind of knew that they were where they were, and they just kind of celebrated it, right?
Yeah.
And worked through it, obviously, and we wouldn't be talking about them 50 years later if they didn't.
Right. No, 50 years later, exactly. That pretty much speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Michael?
Boy, I've been doing so much
I know you
stuff
have.
on Alice Cooper lately. I think you know what, in tonight's show though, Royce, I think we covered some stuff that I haven't covered on my videos, and I even got a chance to bring out more information that I didn't have time to bring up on my video proper.
That's perfect, Michael.
Yeah, so I appreciate you having me on and able to be a part of the conversation.
Well, this is your show as much as it is mine,
Well, it's to me it's a hang, brother. I've got 5 friends here tonight that I absolutely love, each and every one of you on the panel. And that's
how I feel. That's how I feel.
And I'm at a point in my life. I don't have a lot of close friends. I don't go over to a buddy's house or anything. This is about, and I'm very busy.
I know.
And so this is almost my day off. I'm still working right up on my stream. And then once I'm off, it's like I just let you carry the burden and I get to hang. So thank you.
And I'm the same way, Michael. I feel like I used to have a lot of things to go do with a lot of people, and I feel like this is it now.
This is a hang. I really love each and every one of these guys that's up here with us, including you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I've never shaken either one of your hands, but I consider you right now. This is my close group of people in my life, besides my wife and my children. you guys come right underneath it for me. And that's pretty much how I have always made friends. It's the people I love to hang with and who can put up with my big mouth a bit. And I appreciate each and every one of you for doing so, really.
Oh, it's not that bad.
No, it isn't.
It gets there, right? I'm getting better.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, no, and that's kind of where I'm at in life right now too. It's like I don't say, bye, dear, I'm gonna go see Mike, or I'm gonna go. I don't do anything. I go to work, I do my show. I'm trying
Well,
to get
this is like going bowling with the guys, only which I love to do,
Right.
Or if I went out and played doubles with you guys in tennis, which I love to do. But I also equally enjoy just talking classic rock and roll and the music industry and everything, as much as all of that. And it's like I got to go bowling with a bunch of friends, and I caught a few strikes.
I used to have at least 6 guys I could call anytime, and we'd all jump on our motorcycles and take off and go someplace.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'd come home from work with no destination and just get on my Harley and ride around town. I did the same thing when I had my airplane though. I'd go down there after work just to fly around a little bit. But anyway,
yeah, I'm not a pilot, but I've done the same thing on my bike and in my truck or in the car that I had at the time. I love to just point and go,
Now I don't have a Harley, and I keep telling my wife eventually I'll get another one, and she says, "Oh no, your balance has gotten bad, and this is this, and that is that, and you just kill yourself." And it's like, yeah, but at least I'll go doing something I like.
That's the reason I got my Harley for sale right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't trust myself anymore.
Don't trust
There's a lot better ways
anymore.
to go.
Yeah.
I lost a brother-in-law.
The only reason I quit doing all that stuff is I became a family man, and I had a responsibility to keep myself alive. Otherwise, I was pretty wild.
Michael, when I was 18 years old, I moved to Long Beach. I already had my first Harley Davidson. I had it while I was living in Henderson, Nevada. And I just got through painting it myself and putting a bunch of chrome on it, a nice pearlescent white and red paint job. And I went out to check on it in the morning, and somebody had broken into the garage of the house I was renting, and I didn't have a bike or any tools anymore.
Oh man!
Wow.
And then Betty, she got pregnant, and we started having kids, and I thought, well, if I get hurt, just putting your foot down, trying to keep from having an accident and you break your ankle and can't work or something, that's going to be bad news with a family. And I waited a whole bunch of years before I got back into bikes,
And if you're a good father, you also work your ass off, like we were talking about earlier, double shifts to provide for those children. But then when you get off work, even then you don't have time to get on that bike and ride, because now you have the responsibility to spend time and play with your children. Or at least if you're smart, that's what you do. So a lot of my young wild ways, my wild ways, and I was wild, brother. I wouldn't have recommended me to meet any girl's mother during those years. But once I had children, everything changed. You start seeing the world through their eyes and their needs, and that slows you down a bit. But I still kept playing music, still was in a band somehow, and it was worth it. That's all I can say.
Okay, no, I agree 100%. Good night, James. Good night, James. Joseph Blue, good night, brother. Thank you for being here. James Redding, thank you so much.
We appreciate y'all, folks, especially for those of you who have stuck around to the end.
I just want to thank everybody tonight, everybody in the chat. All those super chats were just absolutely amazing. Paul giving 5 memberships away. Oh my God. Thanks so much, everybody. And the chat, we love you. Love the panel. And Chris Elliott. Now, who's that? Okay. Anyway, Chris, I always like to mess with you. So anyway, we're going to sign off, and that's what's happening in Royce's world today. I want to thank everybody once again for being here, and we hope to see you all, Winslow, Red Cross. We hope to see you all next week, folks. And I'm out of here. Thank you.
Night,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night,
Good night.
Winslow.
Everybody.
Take care.
Stay safe.
God
See you
bless.
next week.
Good night. Thank you. See you next week. The chat is I'm still chasing the chat. Paul, good night, Paul. Thank you so much for giving away the memberships. That was just what a wonderful gift. Okay, good night, everybody.
See ya.
Night.